Hi, welcome to Cottage Kitchen Chats with Joanne and Wix. That's my cat. I think he'll be joining us today on and off. Well, come on in, have a seat around my virtual kitchen table, and we'll chat. Yesterday, I was speaking to one of my friends a childhood friend that I grew up with, and we got on the subject of widowhood. Now, I've been a widow for 7 years, she more recently, and we talked about, do you ever get over that? And my thoughts on that are that you don't get over it. You never get over it, but you do get through it somehow. And I remember the first time that I fully realized that I was a widow. I was in a doctor's office, and you had to fill out that form. And it said married, widowed, and I had, for the first time, had to cross off that X at widowed. And it still chokes me up to even think about that after all these years. It was the reality of it. Now, I had gotten through the funeral, I got through all the things that follow up after the loss of a loved one, and I thought I was okay. But it was that instant that I realized that it hit me right in the face. You're a widow. And I carried that for a long time, being a widow. I felt like a widow. I felt like, I don't know, it was strange. It was a feeling that I never had before. I was always somebody's daughter, then I became somebody's wife, and of course I had my own things too, but I always sort of belonged somewhere. And being a widow, all of a sudden I felt I was on my own. Now, I have 3 children, I have 8 grandchildren, I have 5 great-grandchildren now, but that's different because they all have their lives, and you're still responsible for your life and how to build that. So everybody, of course, was so good to me. I have a great support system, and I appreciate that. But one day I was writing in my journal, and I write poetry, and I started to write a poem about my wedding ring. And I also wore a little tiny urn around my neck with just a smidgen of my husband's ashes so that I could keep him near me. Well, as I was writing, it was almost like he was here with me, because the chain got caught on something, and I went to loosen it, and it broke. And when it fell off of my neck, all of a sudden I felt like this burden, not a burden, but a heaviness, a cloud lifted from me. And I thought, gee, that's odd, like I keep that so close to my heart, yet when it was gone, I felt lighter. So then I looked at my ring again, and I thought about what I was writing and about my wedding ring, this poem about my wedding ring, and that happened. And I thought, my husband's name was Bud. I thought, is he trying to tell me something? I think he is. And this was a while, after he had passed. So I took off my wedding ring, and it was amazing what happened, the feeling that came over me. All of a sudden, I wasn't a widow anymore. That ring, as much as I loved it, as much as I loved him, and as much as it meant to me, when I took it off, I felt a freedom. I felt a freedom from being a widow, from wearing a pall around my neck. And I thought, you know what? He will always be in my heart. And I guess I really could have just checked married on that piece of paper from the doctor's office, because in fact I am still married. I'm married in my heart, but I'm not a widow anymore. And when I took that ring off and decided I was not going to be a widow anymore, that's when I could go forward with my life, with my own life. And I thought, now I can start building something on my own. I started to look at the positive part of my situation, and not in any way to lessen what it was, but I felt I can build a new life. For the first time, I'm on my own, on my very own. I got married when I was 20 years old. I left my father's house and I went into another man's house. And then I divorced him and I went into another man, married another man. So I've never actually been on my own. I've had jobs, of course, and I started a business. I ran a business of my own, but never just built my life. So that's what I started to do. And I've been keeping journals for 30 years, and I started to get back into that. And I'm working on writing my book. I enjoy my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. I enjoy my own kids too. But anyhow, I'm just passing that along today. There's our chat. And if you have any input, throw it up there. I mean, I'd like to hear from you. So thanks for joining me today. And I hope you'll pop in again. See ya.